what is it that's stopping us from winning? We are practicing, we are, doing our drills, we are doing so much, but a huge part of it lies in our mind, right? Like we do not think that we can win at a like certain probably instance or like if I had my own experience, it was with Anna. And it's not just with me, like Anna runs crazy, right? She's really fast and all of that. So it's already in your mind that she's better than you. And I have seen this, admit it or not, happening with everybody, right? How many of you agree it's happened with you that there's an opponent and then your mind is already like, oh my God, they're better than me. Probably I won't be able to get that, right? It's happened with so many of us. And I think on ground, on field, this is one of the most horrible things to happen to you because you've practiced for weeks and you have really trained, you've got your fitness, and then in the end minute, your mind just tells you, oh, probably I cannot get it, right? So that's one of the things that we will be addressing today. How can you program that part of your mind to win? Yeah, how can you program and train just like how you train your body to win? Like how can you program your mind to win? So tell me, like anybody, share with me challenges that you have felt at play, like one or two challenges that you have felt, okay, I am doing this, I could have, but I just blurted out in the end, like my mind just fused out, right? Any on-field experience that you want to share? Anybody can go. Anything that's happened on field, like I know I could have got it, but at one point of time I was running, but then I just felt, oh, maybe that person is faster than me. And I've seen it happen. Okay, like probably I'm new, but I was really observing how each one of you were playing, right? Because I was trying to learn. And a lot many times, especially in practice, I can see that happen. So on field, I'm sure during the tournament it's really high, like the rate of your mind just letting go of you. So how many have felt that happen or want to share one or two challenges that has happened?
Yeah, the thing that you mentioned, like, oh, probably I'm not fast enough. And even if, I mean, there are times that you can push yourself on field, but because you think that, oh, maybe I can't reach the end zone on time, you just
Yeah,
not end up even pushing yourself to even reach there. It
yeah,
also, I think, mentally, uh, this also happens when you've made a mistake on the field, or like, a catch is dropped, or you've made a lousy throw, and then you're still back at the field, but you're still thinking about that mistake you've made, and that then you're just like making the same mistake again and again because you're still thinking
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
This has happened so many times, I bet with so many of us, right? Like you're yet in a certain other moment, but you're not playing the present. You're like thinking of that lousy throw or that missed catch, or you just didn't push yourself hard enough to do it. So many times, and this I'm sure you strategize at each game. At the start of your game, you're strategizing your play. In practice, you're strategizing your play. But many times you forget like to strategize and to program your mind to do it no matter what. Okay, one huge experience that I can also share with you is Vijay, like when we were doing the box drill, the first time that I was doing it, I had no clue what was happening. Okay. And I was just trying to learn the sequence. And then I missed, I think, 3 catches. Okay. And then Vijay just walks up to me and he's like, you are putting your body at it, and I don't care what you do, you're going to catch that. And after that, trust me, I didn't miss one. I didn't drop one catch. And then I realized it's so much to do with your mind. You've always, just him coming up to me and saying that so seriously just like woke up my brain. And then after that, I didn't miss one. So that's how powerful your brain can be. It was my first day, second day at it, and I could yet catch everything because my mind was programmed to do it. My mind feared that, okay, I have to do it. There's no other option that I have, right? So we all know this. Like to a large extent, we know that this is what we have to do. And Pixie tells in every single practice session, commit to that cut, commit to that catch. So he keeps telling you to commit, meaning what? Like you need to tell your mind wholeheartedly to go do that. There's no second thought about it. We know all this and they've been telling us, but can we use some other technique to anchor this in our brain? That's what today's session is going to be about. We know it, we've been trying, probably we have failed, we've not taken it seriously, whatever, but can we use any other technique to actually anchor this in our mind? Okay, so there are two things that I can tell you. One, as I told you, you strategize before your play. The same thing at war, wars are not won on the battlefield, but at your strategy grounds, right? You strategize your mind, you tell your mind to do it, then you win the war. It's the same even at any game, because you prepare your mind to win it. For you, the only thing has to be winning. It doesn't matter the score, it doesn't matter how the catch was, no. And who is your opponent, it doesn't matter. So how do you do this? Is there a way that you can do it apart from, just telling yourself, oh, I have to do it? No, there is something called NLP, okay, which is neuro linguistic programming. It's a kind of a technique that we use at counseling. Okay, so the whole thing here is you're going to program your neurons, your brain, linguistically, meaning using words to do what you want it to do. It's a super powerful technique if you use it right. Okay, and there is a technique called anchoring, which we're going to learn today and which we can use at play. Okay, so anchoring, let me give you an example how it works. All of you have heard of that dog food and bell experiment by Pavlov, right? There's okay, all right, I will tell you about it. So this guy was trying to establish a link between your neurons and your linguistic, like linguists, like, or even actions. Okay, he was trying to understand the connection and program of the mind. So what he did every single day is at the same time, he got food for the dog, placed it, and every time the dog would eat, he would ring a bell. Okay, he did this for 21 days. And then the next time, whenever he rang the bell, the dog would salivate, irrespective of there was food or not. Okay, this is called conditioning of the brain. And this, not just in dogs, it can happen with us as well. So this is also a technique of anchoring. He anchored the sound of the bell to food. And the dog, naturally, the neurons reacted and they started salivating. The same thing can be done even with us. Okay, and this is a super powerful technique. It's called anchoring, which we can do. Okay, so now I want all of you, before we dive into the whole process, okay, I want all of you to think of one incident or one place where you really get scared when you're on field. Okay, probably it could be a tough defense, or it could be a tough throw, or it could be a tough catch, whatever is tough for you. Or it would be probably racing somebody on a disc, whatever is tough for you. So I want all of you to take like a minute and think of it. Now, think of it as not just like, oh yeah, I can't run against this person. No, I want you to completely immerse yourself in that thought. How is it when you're running? You're running, your heartbeat's like really high. You're trying to run against that person. So I want you to visualize it and feel it. Okay, this is a huge part of the process. Visualize what you're wearing. Okay, visualize what sort of a day it is. Is it sunny, cloudy? Is it windy? Okay, what are you wearing? Okay, I want all of you to visualize as I do. What are you wearing? What sort of a day is it? Is it sunny? Is it windy, cloudy? Okay, on the field, your team members, I want you to see each one of them playing there with you. And then I want you to imagine your opponents. Okay, imagine how they look, how you're feeling at that moment. Are you trying to do a defense, or are you playing offense, trying to catch the disc? Is it a difficult throw? You're at the corner, sideline, somewhere, whatever is in your head. Okay, I want you to visualize this. And the one super most difficult thing that you couldn't do. Okay, I want you to visualize. Now I want you to feel this moment. You're feeling hot, you're feeling cold, you're anxious, you're anything. Okay, anything that you're feeling, your heart rate's high. you're pacing, your mind is, it's really freaking you out, anything that you're feeling, sweaty palms, all of it, I want you to recreate that scene in your head. Okay, now hold on to this. We will go into a small meditation because I'm going to teach you this process of anchoring. So this you can practice every day, of course, or you can practice whenever you're on field. So the major important thing about anchoring is you need to set the anchor, right? Meaning you need to practice, just like the bell, right? You need to practice it for a few days. So whenever at the point, like when you're playing, just this one word, which I'm going to give you as an anchor, you can use and you can reach your maximum peak state. By this, what do I mean? If I say you're scared right now, and at this point, you're going to use a word saying probably, okay, I can do it. That's it. Okay. It is going to instill a sense of confidence and a sense of accomplishment in you. How are we going to do that? We'll do a meditation or a process on that. Okay, so that is your outcome of this process, that at this point where you just imagine you to be super scared and freaked out on field, you're going to use this anchor of a word to get you to a most confident state that you can. Okay, got it? Like you got what the goal is of this meditation, right? So let's do it. Okay. It's just gonna take 5 minutes. I want you to concentrate on my voice and the music. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it. Hear it, right? Is it audible? Better? This is too loud. Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So now let's all close our eyes. Okay, this is going to help you imagine and concentrate. Okay, so all of you can close your eyes. And now I want you to feel exactly what you just did while I asked you to imagine. Okay? Imagine the field, you dressed in your jerseys, sweating through the game. And as the game has proceeded, you have a fear that you might not win. At this point, you see your teammates, visualize your teammates around you, all of them in their jersey, all of them playing hard. Now, visualize your opponents on the field as well. As you visualize your opponents, imagine you're running and you seriously need that 1 point. Imagine yourself running for the disc and playing, and at this very moment, your mind brings up a doubt. It brings a fear. Completely feel the fear. Feel your palms sweat. Feel your heartbeat go high. As you can feel that, your mind creeps in this doubt about your performance. Now, at this point, let your fear go up. Let it maximize. Increase breathing. Breathe harder. Breathe faster. Just like you're on field, let the fear increase. Increase and increase. And as the fear mounts, I want you all to shout in your mind, I can do it. Shout as loud as you can I can do it. Anchor this again and again in your mind. Scream and shout, I can do it. I can do it at all costs. You're going to repeat it and repeat it in the loudest voice that you can. Scream out, I can do it. Now visualize the most powerful you running for that disc, running against that defense, scoring that point, and winning. Let that joy completely engulf you. Let it go into every cell of yours. And that one moment of confidence helped you win. Enjoy it, feel that. Let your breath get faster as you enjoy that moment of win. Now, slowly, at this point, I want you to open your eyes in the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, open your eyes and relax. Okay, now that was one part of the anchor only. Okay, now tell me how you felt during that anchoring process. Could you imagine and could you feel yourself getting to that point of extreme fear? And then when you shouted, I can do it, how did you feel? And then how did you overcome that situation? Okay, like 1 or 2 of you can share your experience and I'll tell you how you can actually take it ahead. Okay, Nandini, or anybody who wants to share your experience.
I think Yash raised her hand.
Okay, I couldn't see it. Yeah, tell me. Yes, you want to go for it? Yeah. We can't hear you. Yeah. Nope, we
Still
can't hear you. Yeah. Right. Okay, maybe until then, somebody else can go. And maybe Yash, you can like leave and join again. Right?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Great, yeah. So that was actually good. I'm a person who really believes in meditation because that is where you actually vibrate your energy as to what you're actually trying to implement, right? So I also felt the more you're talking to yourself, especially the kind of energy you're giving to yourself, you can feel the sense of vibration that you're emitting out. So just by doing that, I can imagine, like, again, the more you're conveying and convincing yourself to do something that you're supposed to do and you want to do, I'm pretty sure you're like pushing yourself to accomplish that, right? So you're setting some command over yourself to do it.
Yeah.
So that is what I kind of always feel when you're meditating and when you're trying to reciprocate with yourself to do something. The energy within you kind of pushes yourself to do something like towards it. So yeah, definitely that was really good.
Nice. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Like tell me what you felt at that moment, and then tell me if you can relate to that on a daily basis when you're practicing, right? Okay, Vinay, did you raise your hand? Okay. All right. Okay, so one thing is you are your only cheerleader on the field, right? No matter how many people are talking to you and guiding you, at one point of time, it's only you who can actually make you play the right way, right? So for that, you need to constantly tell yourself it's not only going to be about how much you can run or just physical fitness if you're mentally not willing to go and use that, right? So, and of course, NLP is a huge topic, and then there's a lot of processes, and it takes time for you to reach um, that stage. Like, you probably need to be meditating on a daily basis or used to these techniques for it to actually hit you. Okay, but doing it on a daily basis is definitely going to help you perform better, and it just needs you to anchor that word "I can do it" into your system. So every time that you hear "I can do it," you're going to reach that level of confidence. And this does require practice. Just like how you're training your physical body, you need to train mentally as well. So I would recommend you do it like at least in the next 10 or 20 days. Whenever you feel you're low, just anchoring this word "I can do it." Probably you can imagine any situation that you're going through in a day, and then at that point of time, anchoring the word "I can do it." That's it. So at any point of time in any situation, your body is going to kick back to that neuro-linguistic programming, what they call, kick back into that that complete confidence state. Okay, so you just have to program your mind. If a dog can salivate just by listening to the sound of a bell, and I'm sure all of us can do much better. Okay, Jaideep, and I didn't see your raise hand. Like, yeah, Meghna, right? So you want to share your
Yeah,
experience?
it was Magna. Magna.
Oh, okay. No, I did. I wanted to share it after what Yash did.
Okay.
And I asked Jaideep to unmute, but he decided he wanted to raise hand and use these features. But
You could have unmuted also.
yeah, I could have. So I just wanted to share that when, at least personally, when fear takes over, I find that my body is not as open or as able to move as freely. And then when I'm most confident, I think my body also kind of reciprocates to that kind of confidence. Or when you say stuff like "I can do it," then you do
Yeah.
feel like you can jump higher or run faster. I think the body also moves or opens up when you are more confident, and kind of shuts down or closes down when you're scared or anxious, something like that.
Yes. So if we have to explain this physiologically, right? When you are scared, your body releases cortisols, which is a stress hormone. It is either looking at fighting back or freezing or just running away. Okay. It only looks at these three F's. Like, it's either fighting, freezing, or just running away. Okay. At this point of time, you don't know what amount of cortisols or what kind of reaction your body can give at a to a certain, what it considers at danger, right? Like, whatever stresses you is danger. So your body releases these stress hormones called cortisols, and your body like freezes. It cannot perform at its best. But when you instill confidence, these words like "I can do it," or these words like "go," even if you have seen all the cheers do have these certain words. What's the score? 0-0. I mean, like, it's 0-0, it's not going to affect you, so you give your best at game, right? So these are words, code words, that's going to help you de-stress. And at this point, if you're going to instill confidence is a positive energy in your body. So that is going to release happy hormones like endorphins, dopamines, serotonins. Okay, and it's going to help better utilization of carbs and all that in your blood. So that is going to help you perform better eventually, right? So there is a link psychologically and physiologically to these words. Okay, so I would suggest you actually practice them, not just at game, but even in everyday life, because they do have a huge impact on the way your mind perceives danger and acts. So yeah. I know it was like a super short 20-minute session, which is very less to explain NLP or get those, feel into your body. But these are some things that I have done with my clients, and it's really helped them quite a bit. And I'm sure you will also start seeing those effects if you used the tool right? Any tool used right gives you good result. Okay. So I think any more questions and anything you want to share, I think you can go ahead. Anybody
So I think this
else?
trigger thing is like, I think it definitely works. I know I use it a lot in like, big important meetings, or like I'm suddenly just like thrown up front at work and be like, okay, just like, talk about and get this project or whatever. And quite often I'm like, I know that like I have these moments where like, oh shit, how am I going to talk to like, all the heads of businesses and heads of marketing and the global heads, and then there's just me who's like the only woman kid in the room, which is generally what happens, because most of my clients are like in their 50s, and then I walk in with whatever I walk in with. So that initial moment, few moments are always of this doubt and fear, like, will I be able to, will they want to listen to me? Will they
Yeah.
be willing to listen to me and get influenced by what I have to say? Because at the end of the day, we might end up working together and stuff like that. And so I have a few people who've been sort of been anchors in some way or the other. So it's one of those people's floating heads in my at the
Yeah.
back of my mind. Sometimes it's Vijay saying, fake it till you make it, Nandini. Sometimes it's Madhu saying something. Sometimes it's someone saying, like, it's these inner, sort of like inner voices.
Yes.
But every time I do get Vijay's floating head, I also get Madhu saying, Nance, don't let Vijay in your head. But jokes aside, that does really help. Yeah, I don't know why I never thought to use it on the field. So thank you.
Yes, like when I was noticing this, all of like how you guys practice. I mean, I'm too new into the whole thing, so I'm obviously extra observant of how to play and how people talk. And I mean, I'm trying to learn and right. So that's when I felt like there are so many things that we use without actually knowing the science behind it, or like when you study it, you feel like, oh wow. But when you see it being utilized in life in various other forms, you feel like, wow, this is universal knowledge, just that we didn't know it's called this. And like Pixie has told it a zillion times. I've got it from Pixie and Vijay a lot, like on every practice session. They're like, why can't you catch it? Or, make that cut, commit that cut. And I just feel that's so important, because if you're hearing that every time during practice, when you go on to tournament, like you've heard it so many times, it's imbibed in your head, and you're going to actually commit to a cut, or you're going to throw your body at catching that disc. And that makes a whole lot of a difference. So that's where we are actually using NLP on a daily basis to practice and get to a tournament. And I think everybody has to very closely watch that. Yes, Pixie wanted to.
Yeah, Aishwarya, thanks for that. It was, I mean, it's an interesting topic, and it's good that we started down this path. In my this thing, when I have played 3 sports. I played basketball, I've played badminton, and I've played ultimate at a competitive level. And when I used to play badminton, I used to get really nervous when I used to play. And I've never really found that happening when I played ultimate. And when I think about it, this is at least for me, my nervousness used to stem from having a doubt in whether I will actually be able to perform what I need to do. Skill wise, am I going to be able to meet that level or not? And what I realized is at least in ultimate, as I was wondering, why don't I have that same this thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think at least in ultimate as compared to basketball and badminton, it's because, at least for me, whether it's realistic or not, I have the confidence in myself. When I'm in a particular position, I can make a particular throw, I can make a catch, I can give a cut. I've got that confidence in myself, and I think that comes from practice. There is no substitute for
Yes.
practice. There's absolute no substitute for that. And being, in this position that you're saying where you're mentally unable to perform, I think you can divide it into two cases. One is where you have the necessary skills to perform the task, and then you're not performing because you've got this mental barrier, where I think
Yes.
this helps a lot. Where you're saying, then this comes into the picture. But quite a few cases, most of the cases, at least that I've seen, is because people don't have confidence in their own ability to, in that particular high pressure situation, to perform that task. And there, at least for me, what I found was most effective is to put yourself in that position again and again and again, and practice that repetitively until you no longer have that fear.
Yes.
So that is something that worked for me, that I just wanted to
Yeah.
share with them.
Of course, like any preparation or any final show requires physical training and mental training. So I think it goes hand in hand without a
Adding to what Pixie said, I think quite often when I first began to play, one thing that really used to play heavy on my mind was I think I was really intimidated by the other players or other team or someone who could run faster, catch better, all of that. And I think one thing that really helped me, whether I was able to put myself in the position over and over again or not, I think I used to mentally see how I could deal with whatever was intimidating me first. So I kind of get that out of the way, and then immediately I felt like my brain was freer to do everything else it was supposed to do. I had so much more mental capacity to think about what I should be doing in a given situation. It just freed my mind, I think, a lot more. So is there some trick that everybody could try on to kind of keep doing that or try to do that?
Yeah, actually there is. We can I think, of course it'll take some time, and I think we just have 2 minutes on this meeting, but I think we can like do another session on that, because now a part of it I've already introduced, like when in this meditation also, when you were saying that you imagine yourself in that tough situation, and then you give yourself an added boost, and like say with those words, those anchor words, and then you do that situation. So you're imagining yourself in a tough situation, boosting yourself, and then winning that situation. So there are processes that you can do on this as well. Probably we can have another session on that.